This is Andrew. I voice Indigo on the Madness table. Before we get to the madness today, I want to shout out Touch of the Feywild, the You Want to Do What podcast, and Podcast Overlord. Thank you for your support. It means the world to us. And now, on with the madness.
So, the last time we met, you guys had lost your dear friend Eldef. You had done some big research and found out quite a bit about how this castle may have come to be here and its history. You lost almost all of your companions except for the noble Stool, the ever-present savior of your entire group. You have decided to kind of split up before potentially trying to rest for who knows what time of day. Lara, you are descending into the hole back where Ashni was found. Sifel, you are working on moving the stones. And Indigo, you are diving into more of the books in the library. What do you guys want to do?
Well, Lara, she's on this rope, I think, and staring up at Sifel, looking down at her as she's slowly kind of, like she doesn't want to look away because she's like a little paranoid, I would say. And also just being tactical, like don't turn your back on a potential enemy. And she's going to crawl down that rope and wants to investigate the body that she can see mangled at the bottom.
Sure. Make a medicine check.
That is... Ooh, -1. That's a 12 minus 1 is 11.
Okay. You see quite a bit of damage has been done to Sareth, and you determine that that's mostly been done due to the fall, but you do see that his neck was slashed. And so you would think due to the blood on their clothes and from the depth of the cut that you believe that's how they died.
Okay. All right. Can I search Sareth?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. I'm not going to make you roll for it because you can spend the time to be as thorough as you want. And you find that they don't have anything except for a couple of small edible bits of fungus that you guys had found back with your Culturid friend, Brillanira.
Okay. Just being a competent survivalist, she will grab those. And then I'm gonna then check out the egg that Ashni came out of and see if that is viable in any sort of form to make a weapon or a shield or something.
Okay. Yeah, you go back over to the nest and you see the rest of the shards of that egg there. Go ahead and roll me a nature check.
Okay. 8.
Okay. It's easy enough. It's incredibly durable stuff. Do you have proficiency or any kind of smith tools with you?
No. I do not.
Okay. So you're not entirely sure what you could really, if you could forge it into anything. You don't really have the tool set with you to do anything. However, there's a large enough piece that you figure that if you were to take some rope and like lash it onto your arm, you could make a small buckler and maybe give yourself a +1 to AC, but nothing else. And you're not sure how long it would last in such a form as well.
Okay. Yeah, she'll take the time to do that and also ponder Sareth's corpse a few feet away.
Sure. You're harvesting the bits while looking over
Yeah.
Sareth, just like, oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this. Bubito, no!
The head bone's no longer connected to the neck bone.
Lots of bones are broken from there. other bones. Falls are not our friends. All right. Are you? How long do you want to spend down in the cavern there with the old bodies?
Yeah, I imagine that she climbed down pretty quickly, made her check. She would literally just do this as quickly as possible. Make the buckler, slap it on her back, and then walk over to the hole and yank on the rope to indicate that she's ready to come back up.
Mm-hmm.
And then do so.
Are you? Is she expecting Sifel to pull her back up?
I think I was standing by the rope so that it didn't come loose. Safel was doing it as sort of a trying to do it as a gesture of like camaraderie and please don't assume that I'm a murderer.
When he doesn't pull it, she's like, "Son of a bitch," and then she just starts climbing.
Yeah,
fine.
Muttering about the emaciated form of her illithid friend up top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's jump over to Indigo. So you are back in the library and you are there with Stool, who's kind of been your actual stool as you pile your books on top of his head. What are you, if anything, are you looking for in particular?
Well, I think Indigo's pretty satisfied with like the history that they've uncovered and like kind of like pieced together between him and Safel here previously. So I think right now, Indigo is looking to see if there's any maps of like or architectural plans around. Not like terribly hopeful, but no stone unturned.
Okay. Go ahead and make either a perception or an investigation check.
Ooh, then I'll take a perception.
Okay.
And a respectable 11.
Okay. How much time do you spend looking for this?
Indigo's not reading into it like, oh, they sent me over here to get me out of the way. There's like, Safel said to go over there and look for more information, so he's gonna work until someone goes and like gets him, unless Stool like gets antsy or anything.
All right, so you're going to spend some time. All right, that, in my mind, lowers the DC here. You do find not a map, but you do find a kind of description of the lower layout of the castle in one of the books. It seems like somebody was kind of writing about the history, again, of the kingdom that this was once a part of, and they described them traversing through the lower floors of this castle. So you learn that the hallway that proceeds to the north beyond the library where you are currently in actually leads to two very close rooms, one of which appears to be some kind of large study, and another that leads to a blacksmith shop, actually. Kind of the kingdom's armorer and blacksmith. And then that proceeded farther north to a couple of lower level, what's the word I'm looking for? Like servants' quarters. A series of small rooms on the first floor so that they can quickly attend to a variety of needs. Brought forward, and then that led to a very large outdoor garden where they kept the king and queen kept a large variety of flora and various things that they had found due to their ripe kingdom. And then the other bits that you learn is that the doorway that all of your friends had been vanishing through. So if you went back into the main entryway, the foyer, as we'll call it, where the large door, Safel and Lara and Ashni and Athira sit, if you had gone through the other set of doors, you would enter into an extremely large and elegant banquet hall.
Ooh.
Where quite a few parties, balls, and other such were held with the main meals. This person describes the rich tiling and floors, the grand banquet table that spanned the majority of the room, and how laughs, cheers, cries could all be heard throughout. And then they talk about how the servants would always bust through from a small set of doors to the right of the banquet hall, bringing forth rich meats, fruits, vegetables, roast vegetables, and whatnot, always in a continuous stream. That King Gallus and his queen were never left their guests to want for any kind of food.
Nice.
You learn in this description that farther north beyond the banquet hall, through another set of doors, this went down a larger hallway that eventually left or went into a set of staircases that went up to the upper floors, as well as a small barrack room for some of the king and queen's knights and kind of higher ranking sergeants in their small army. And then you learn that it also connects to the very large garden as well. The other bit that you learn, that the large set of double doors that Sefel and Lara are nearby leads through to the throne room, which was a vast room lavishly decorated with 2 large marble thrones in which the king and queen would receive all guests unless it was for a party. This is where they attended all official business. This is where those coming for aid or war was declared. This is where the main happenings were conducted. And that is what you learn of the layout.
Oh, wow, Stool. There's all sorts of great stuff in here. Wow, there's a study and a shop, and I bet there's a lot of great stuff we could get. I guess we should go see if everyone else is busy. Oh, but, they did tell us to look around, so I guess we could keep looking around, or... I mean, they'll come get us when it's important, so I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. Listen, can I go see Eldef?
What?
I feel bad that she died. I got to know her really well while we were in the prison, and I don't know. I just feel like I should be by her when she... I don't know what you did, but I feel like it's kind of like our grove used to do when one of us would pass. We would just kind of be there, and we would feel their essence go.
Oh, that's very sweet, Stool. Yeah, why don't we do that together, and we can wait for the rest of everyone to, come get us. I think that'll be very nice.
You want to commune with me and her as she passes beyond?
Yeah, I would love to know more about the spiritual practices of the Grove.
Okay.
And Stool runs back over. The books that you stacked upon his little toadstool head fall off as he hobbles, runs over to Eldef's now decomposing body. And you see, as they kind of like settle in next to Eldef, that he seems to expel a number of spores from off of his body, and you kind of feel yourself kind of becoming more peaceful and calm, and you feel this desire to kind of like sit down. It's it's like you just took a hit of a magical blunt or something. You're just all of a sudden really mellow, and you see Stool actually kind of like rhythmically swaying side to side, and you don't hear them speak, but you hear what sounds like almost like humming or a musical tune, almost shared between your minds. And can you make a wisdom saving throw for me?
Well, of course. And that is a 12. Unless this is again being charmed, in which case I have advantage.
No, not really a charm. So you, as this is happening, you manage to keep most of your wits together, but you actually feel like your mind kind of melds with Stool's, and you actually feel what almost feels like the presence of another, and it almost feels like you're reaching out to Eldef's spirit in a way. You're not 100% sure, but you almost feel like you're connecting in some kind of way, and your mind just travels, and it starts to see these colors in your mind, and you hear this peaceful music kind of going, but you're also able to see what's happening in front of you, and you see that the roots and fungi that had started to grow over Eldef's body from the ceremony that you had performed are actually starting to grow and connect with Stool as well. And some of them actually reach out towards you and kind of like quickly and slowly kind of like go over your legs. And then they kind of just stop, and you just feel a connection between the three of you. And it's honestly kind of probably rattling to Indigo to feel this almost third, very faint presence, and you feel it slowly fade more and more. But eventually you kind of lose track of time as this continues on.
Whoa.
All right, let's jump back over to Sefel and Lara. So Sefel, Lara had descended into the hole. You told her this big secret you had kept. And for the moment, we'll say that Lara has not come back up, but you are upstairs alone with Ashni in Athera, who has kind of gone off on her own, and she seems to kind of be like sitting and rocking nearby one of the pillars, doing her own thing. What are you doing?
I think that Sefel is sort of in a... I don't know. I don't know that he much has a purpose right at this moment. He's in a very uncomfortable middle ground of this whole situation with Sarith, that Lara is now investigating. That he was hoping to just sort of sweep under to continue their path forward, and now he's more just in this uncomfortable period of waiting, allowing Lara to take from the situation what she needs to and see how much she can salvage the situation after. And sort of just, I guess it's weird to have him in such a passive state at the moment, but he really is just sort of seeing and analyzing what the reaction is going to be, and he doesn't really know where to take it until he knows that.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, then kind of moving forward a little bit, Lara, you climb your way out of the hole, the shell buckler now on your back, and you see Sefel's just kind of chilling.
I was able to see, as you described, Sarith is indeed dead at the bottom of this hole, and his neck was slashed.
Yes. Bupido made sure he was quite dead before he made his exit. You can see there was no ill intent, simply an avoidance of a complication.
And where are Topsy and Turvy, Sefel?
That I am honestly unsure of. They seem to have exited with the rest, but I am uncertain of their location. And since we are in a moment of honesty, I don't necessarily care to know at this moment. It seems trivial.
Well, we need to keep our backs. We need to watch our backs. Bupito is in this hellhole as we are. We can't leave out the door, and neither can he.
No. We will certainly find him later. Whether we want to or not.
I would say in the future, it would be best to be honest. I know you were worried, but this could have went very badly.
He sort of takes a minute to process what that would mean. My actions were not those of dishonesty. Rather, delayed exposition as I analyzed the best route to take. An immediately passing on that information, or allowing you all to awake with a body in the middle of the chamber, also could have ended very poorly.
I understand. I can see why you did what you did. Do we tell anyone else, or is this... Where do you stand now?
You seem a character of acceptable judgment. Do you believe this information will be beneficial to spreading to the others? Or do you think that it will sway them in a direction that will be harder to contain? Adversely, do you think that if this does come to light later, it will be a larger complication than if we do not reveal it now?
In any strategy, information is key. I think we have to share this. I think Bupito being out there and a threat to all of us is something everyone should be aware of. I would hate for Indigo to go hug him while knowing that he's slit somebody else's throat. And Indigo would absolutely do such a thing.
I cannot disagree with your logic. Perhaps you could break it to him in a more tactful way than I am capable of.
I can do so. And then we can figure out what our next move is. Do you know which direction Bupito went?
I
super don't remember if you told us.
I think he went actually towards the hallway. I don't think he went the doorway that everyone else did he?
No, he did. He went through the left
so he went the
doorway
left
in
door.
the entry hall that you guys are in.
He did abscond to the same direction as the others supposedly headed.
My thought is that we should tell Indigo and come up with a plan here. Because although I would love to go northward through these rocks and into that main room there, I almost think that Bupito is a more pressing matter at this time. And perhaps if we were to track him and come up behind him, we could catch him unawares.
Sefel kind of looks at her armoring and the infantile mini dragon she just hatched. and in his brain just hears Indigo's shrill voice. You truly believe we possess the capability of sneaking up upon an assassin? I do not disagree that Bupito is a issue that will have to be handled. I do not know if I deem him a priority. these crystals, this area, where we are in general, seems important to be understood.
I'm fine if we should understand these crystals and you and Indigo and I want to work together and figure that out. I do not think that Bupito would backtrack through the path that he's already taken, and I think we are less likely to run into him going the same way he did. But I think that this is something we can discuss with Indigo.
Let's see what he has discovered. We'll discuss more.
Yeah, and I'll grab Ashni and indicate for Athera to follow us into the library, I guess.
Okay. She seems kind of startled, and then, you think it's probably just because it's been so long since other sentient people have been here that she flutters up and she begins to follow you guys as you head back to the library. And as you come through the door, you see a very odd sight, that of which you see Stool and Indigo and the body of Eldef, which is now... It almost looks like her body has mummified in a way. And then as you guys kind of emerge and you stare at this, you see her body kind of just slowly dissipate and then kind of fall through the cracks of this floor. And you see the kind of branches that were on Indigo's legs and those that kind of extended to Stool and from Stool all kind of retract and fall back into the cracks. But more importantly, you notice that Stool has seemingly grown a bit. He now has these kind of small, pudgy arms kind of sticking out from his side. He's where he was once 2 feet tall. He now stands about 3 feet tall. And you can kind of now actually see two dark, underneath his cap, two dark, almost like holes would appear to take odd shape of what you think would be eyes. And they kind of turn to you, and Indigo, you actually kind of wake up from this song meditative trance that you were in to see Eldef's body really gone and your friends coming through the doorway.
Oh, hi guys.
Stool, did you eat Eldef?
No,
a flame
I
kind of burst into Sephel's hands. What were you doing to the bodies?
Whoa, guys! It's a totally cool. We're just doing a ritual. It's very spiritual. Just a ritual of Stool's people. That he was kind enough to let me observe.
Stool has run around behind Indigo and is clutching onto their leg, even though they're thick now. They definitely peek out from behind Indigo's legs.
You're gonna have to explain how you're spelling that, Will.
He's thick. That boy's thick. He chunky.
Oh wow! You have hands now. That's great.
Yeah, it's just two little nubby arms. There's not really fingers, but you can feel the tension pushing on you a little bit. And he doesn't appear to be as soft as he once was. He still has kind of the doughy look to him, but the hands feel more stiff, or the arms feel more stiff as they clutch your leg. He goes,
we were just communing with Eldef and her spirit as she finally let go, as my people would do, as the grove together would do. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that I would grow at this time. I have arms now. And he kind of backs away from Indigo's legs, and he waves around his stubby little arms. I didn't think this would happen for another 2 years.
Oh, wow, man, this is great. What a wonderful day of discovery, Stool. I mean, we've been pretty busy, but I don't... you guys sent us over here to get some information, and we have a lot of great stuff, and now Stool has arms. This day can't get any better. There's nothing that could ruin this.
Nothing.
Sarth is dead.
What the fuck?
What?
Stool just starts running around screaming. Oh my god, no!
I apologize for assuming that you would handle that better than I would. I deeply apologize.
Indigo just like grabs both sides of his face. He's like, what?
The Home Alone, like.
Yeah. Turn and
Stool
scream.
Stool sees Indigo doing that, and he tries to mimic it, but like you can't see a mouth. It's just like, oh.
Yes, so I don't know if this is part of your spirituality that you would need to do this to another, but yes, Sarth is dead. Bupido killed Sarth.
But
it's a lot to take in.
oh wow,
Savell witnessed it.
Savell, you saw this happen? That's horrible.
Savell, what have you done to him?
And you see his like little arm stick up like he's gonna punch you.
The flame is still in my hand. There's a joke to be had here about doing mushrooms in a cave, but I'll leave that one alone. Savell is like taking a minute to immediately reassess his assumptions about Lara. Yes. A couple evenings ago, when I was coming to terms with my transformation in the area we have found ourselves in, and the magics within, I found myself in a uncomfortable state of paralysis, not frozen, but simply the intuition to move did not leave my mind. It did not reach my extremities, and Bupido revealed himself as a murderer in that moment of weakness. He sneers the word weakness. He hates that it came out first.
Huh.
He seemed to enjoy the moment of taking Sarth's life. I do not think he was aware that I saw it at first. And when he noticed that I was cognizant, he left with his threats and absconded out the western hall.
Well, Savell, I'm so sorry you had to witness that. I'm sure that was very hard for you. Wow, this is... Whew. I just imagine you just, like, hands on hips, and then I, like, Stool's right behind him, also does hands on hips.
Yep, absolutely. Stool's just, like, looking back and forth, just mimicking you.
Definitely doesn't reach his hips all the way. I imagine Stool's arms are, like, just long enough to be arms, but just short enough to be inconvenient.
Yes.
They're like T-Rex arms.
Yeah,
like,
T-Rex
they're
arms.
there.
Yeah, he can't even, like, he doesn't have enough bend in length in his arms to really get him on their hips, so it just kind of, like, he flops him to his side.
Yeah, he's saggy T-posing.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yes, well, you can come to terms with your... It's very sad you can come to terms with your emotions in your spare time. We need to talk about our next move.
Jesus.
Oh,
Wow, I thought Savell was the harsh one.
I was about to say, I thought I was the asshole, and now I feel a lot less guilty.
Well,
This
I can
is
tell
business.
Yes, ma'am. I can tell you one thing. If you went through the western door, that door goes to the banquet hall, and the kitchen's beyond. I don't know why they would. I mean, I guess he probably didn't know where he was going, but he hasn't come back, so I guess it kind of keeps going. And I guess it does go out to the garden. There's like a nice garden. I think there's some really nice crystals that only grow at night there. But we're underground, so I don't think it probably works anymore. But if we go north here, we can go over up into like the armory and the study. I don't know, maybe there's more information there, Safel, or maybe in the armory, Lara, we can find some weapons or armor to use. There also were some knights that used to live here, and they were also off the banquet hall, so maybe they have some good items as well. And you know the creepy door with all the rubble and the creepy voice from inside of it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the throne room. That's definitely the throne room.
I think it's clear. We go to the armory.
We go to the study.
Well, conveniently, they're both in the same direction, so look at that.
I like to believe in a cartoony way they said that at exactly the same
Yeah,
time.
right?
They like looked at each other and they're like, our path is clear. We go to, and then just diverge.
Yeah.
Both look at each other, and Stool's just like, "Fuck both of you! I'm gonna go eat." No, he just runs off.
And I set that fungal fucker on fire.
Yeah.
It is the last thing you do, Safel. It'll be the last thing you do.
I don't need no revivify to kick your ass, mushroom boy.
No, he doesn't run off. He's sticking with Indigo. All right, so you guys want to do a little bit of exploring past
Yep.
the library.
Yes, I think we should revisit quickly the conversation about a rest before we delve further into this area. Because
Sure.
absolutely yes, study and armory are both very good options. We have nothing to go off of that would suggest that they are safe options at the moment. The castle, whatever this place is, has already been... I mean, just about every single room we've been in so far hasn't been inhabited by something that does not want us here. So...
Do we want to block off the library and take a long rest?
I think it might not be...
feel like
I can get away with a shorter rest if we need to.
I would say a short rest, because I think we only woke up like a few
Has it happened
hours
that long?
ago.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We woke up in the main...
Yeah, because that's, I mean, I guess like canonically, Surf only died like 6 or 8 hours ago, depending on when in the night that happened.
Sarth was actually a couple days. We've taken, I believe, another rest since then. Because we slept, Bupito killed him, I threw him down the hole. We had a whole day, I think, where we got into... There was another skirmish. There was definitely a rest that was had between that point.
I don't know. I think the next fight was the fight where Eldef died, and that was only like an hour
then we
or
met
two
the
ago.
fairy, and we haven't had a rest since we met Aethera.
I thought there was another rest somewhere in there. All right, maybe it was yesterday then.
Lara's feeling good, so this is up to you guys on what kind of what you want to do.
Yeah, no, I think I can get away with a short rest for now. If we are doing that, Will, just so you're aware, I'm going to burn... I'm going to burn my arcane recovery to gain a 2nd level spell slot back.
Okay. Thank you for telling me.
So that is my only recovery until we take another long rest. I'm full HP. I'm slightly tapped on, like, not tapped on spell slots, but I am down a couple, so we just need to make sure that we are cautious about how far we progress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm okay-ish on spell slots. I've played my first level. It's a little short rest, get some HP, and then do a little, just some light exploring, some light exploring.
Yeah.
All right, so correct me if I'm wrong here, because there's a lot. Short rest. That's what you guys are doing. Okay.
Yep.
And you guys are boarding yourselves up in the library.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lara will keep watch over the short rest. Yeah, I know that's like everyone can, but like she'll like literally keep watch.
Okay, so you're keeping an eye on the door after you guys have
Yeah.
kind of barricaded it up. Okay. As you guys are resting, Lara, go ahead and make me a perception check.
14.
Okay. About 20 or so minutes into your watch, as you guys are kind of resting up here, I imagine, Lara, you've actually probably got like your back to the wall near the door as you're kind of like sitting on the ground,
For sure.
or you're like your weapons across your knees, keeping an ear out, and you don't really hear too much from the others. Maybe some muttering from Safel as they're trying to bring back some of their power. And you start to hear something kind of odd. And it's odd in the fact that, like, out of everything you've heard here, you really didn't expect to hear it. And it sounds like the lapping of waves. And this seems to be the sound, this lapping of the waves starts to get louder and louder, the roaring kind of crashing up somewhere near, but you're not exactly sure how far away. And then you all start to hear it as it becomes almost thunderous, and you actually feel the ground start to shake, just... And then you all hear this incredibly large, reverberating roar and like chittering just echo out across everywhere that you can hear. And then all of a sudden you feel the castle shake. It's just this colossal whoomph, something hits it and just everything shaking around you. Stones are starting to fall from the ceiling. Dust is cascading around you as you hear this huge cry and roar. And I actually need you all to roll a sanity check.
Oh shit.
Oh no.
Ooh.
I honestly forget how we did this.
Straight roll plus your sanity modifier.
Fuck.
Gotcha.
Oh, man. Well, this is not great.
Been a minute. Ooh, yep, that is not good.
All right, so Indigo, what you got?
That's a cool 7 for old Indy.
Okay. Roll me a D100, please.
Oh boy. That is a 15.
Okay. Hold on to that. 15. Sorry if I
Man,
had...
D100s are never good.
No.
Describing their slow and painful death.
Yeah, they're never great. Sorry if I had remembered that this was going to happen. Okay. Now, roll me a D10 as well.
Oh man, it gets better and better.
Jesus Christ.
It's 10.
I feel like that's not a good thing in this case.
Okay. All right. Lara, what you get?
10.
Roll me a D10, please.
5.
5. Okay. Now roll me a D100.
41.
41. All right. Safel, what you got?
I rolled a 9, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll that D10.
Yep. Go ahead and roll that, please.
Oh, this is our sanity score game is not good, y'all.
It's really not great. I don't think any of us have succeeded a sanity check.
Nope.
So that is a 4 on the D10.
4 on the D10, then roll me that 100.
Okay. Ooh, okay. 83.
83. As this large roar and bellow and like chittering almost laugh echoes throughout the castle as this large thing hits against it, you all feel something sweep over you. Your heart starts to beat incredibly fast, and you feel this adrenaline start pushing without your body, and all of a sudden your minds are not your own. Indigo, as all this has happened, as these cries and bellows start to fade again, over the course of the next 10 minutes, you're convinced that someone, even your friends, one of them might be trying to kill you. Lara, you all of a sudden think that there is more than one person inside your head. You just hear voices, different sounding voices, saying all sorts of nonsense, and you sit there gripping your head, and I imagine that it's extremely traumatizing. We'll get into it, how your characters react to this. But over the course of the next 5 minutes, that's all you hear is innumerable amounts of voices screaming inside of your head. Sefel, you all of a sudden feel, or see rather, what looks like a large army of people coming to get you and strip you of your belongings, take everything you've ever had, and potentially kill you. And so for the next 4 minutes, you are convinced that that is exactly what is happening. You have all lost a sanity point. If you guys could take that away from your total for me.
All right.
This is my second.
So, just for the listening audience, let's hear your total sanity scores now. Let's start with Indigo, then we'll go Lara, then we'll go Sefel.
Indigo now has a sanity score of 13.
And what were you at originally?
14.
Okay, so this was your first check. All right.
Yeah. First tried, first failed.
Oh, wow.
And what do you think Indigo is doing as he believes that one of your friends, someone, is trying to kill you?
I think Indigo takes like a long look at each of the people in the room. His eyes rest for a long moment on Stool. Then he looks just over his head. The obvious culprit, Sefel. Sefel is gonna come for me. And I position myself between Sweet Stool and the murderous Squid Man. And I get ready to push a table in front and block whatever kind of arcane villainy is about to come my way.
You know, y'all are... There's a theme here, and I know that I, as a person, am a white dude, but I'm starting to think that there's definitely a racial thing happening in here, and I'm not cool with it.
Is it the tentacles?
It's probably the tentacles.
Is it the pseudopods, guys?
The pseudopods?
Yeah.
Is it because I'm gray?
He pulls up his tentacles. Is it the beak underneath? Is it that?
Right.
Is it the
We
screams
don't
of the damned?
think about what's underneath Ilfid's
Ah,
tentacles.
yeah.
There's no good answer to that question.
Nope.
We don't need to know.
All right. So, Indigo, you're just preparing yourself against this imminent threat that you believe is coming from Sefel. Lara, what are you doing as these innumerable amount of voices start screaming in your head?
Yeah, Lara, she was sitting with her weapon across her leg, staring at the door, and then all this started happening, and when the voices like got louder and louder, I'm imagining that she is like curled forward, head against her knees, like gripping her head and like keening back and forth as she like tries not to listen to all these voices. And she's probably just saying like crazy stuff, which if anybody else was saying would probably sound crazy. But and she's just like, the army said it would be okay. I did the best that I could. I'm gonna do better, okay? And I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna keep trying. Everything is just it's fine. And she's just like screaming over and over. And like once in a while, she's just like standing up and maybe like slamming a fist against the wall. But she just keeps saying like unintelligible things.
Ooh, this is cool. I like that. I see some dips into the backstory happening. All right, Sefel, you are convinced an army of people are coming for you and all of your belongings.
Yeah. So just refresh me on the description. So it's not like an ominous like there is somebody coming for me. It's like a visual like you almost see like he is seeing an army of people come at him.
Yeah, and you see your friends amongst them as well. You are convinced that they are there to rob you blind and potentially kill you.
Yeah, I think he's like seeing all of these people, and I imagine it's a terrible combination of things, because he sees suddenly like bursting from all of the doors this army of people, and there's Bupito is in there who's come back, and the body of Sareth with still like the gashing wound in his throat. Like all of these people that have looked at him strangely, and he has been judging and analyzing and trying to determine their worth and have these weird relationships with, they've suddenly just snapped and are done with him and are coming to take his things and dispose of him. And he sees Indigo glaring at him, like actually sees Indigo glaring at him, just looking at him with this terrible look, like he's looking at a monster. And Lara has gone absolutely insane, terrified. The pinnacle of strength within the group is afraid of this onslaught of people, and is huddled in a corner, like scared and not helping him. And I think he's clutching his book to him. He doesn't have a lot of belongings, so it's like his staff, that gnarled black staff, and the book, he's like clutching it to him. And I think he actually he starts throwing cantrips at these illusions. Like he's flinging his staff with one hand, like trying to knock them back, and throwing just small cantrip blasts, like trying to get them away from him. And
cool.
He feels like
love
he's being overwhelmed.
I see Sefel, you kind of backing your way into a corner of the library, swinging your staff and casting spells wildly, trying to take on this horde. You, Indigo, are trying to protect Stool and yourself, and you are throwing over old desks and couches, trying to protect yourself from this hideously deformed in your mind view of Sefel, who is now casting magical spells at you, as you predicted was going to happen. You knew this was coming at some point. And I just see like the two of you are losing your shit, while Lara is just like over in the corner. She's panicking, she's freaking out, hearing both voices that she's never heard before and voices from the past calling out from her, tears down her face. I see Stool panicking and just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Guys! And Ashni is there as well, trying to figure out what is going on with Lara. And we see high above everybody, Athera fluttering about, also covering her ears, just screaming, no, no more, no more, no, 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 no. And that's where we'll leave it this week.
Oh my god.
Hey everybody, this is Sam Conklin. I voice Lara in the Madness Table. We are so delighted to have you here. Thank you so much for listening to our dinky little podcast. We pour our hearts into this, so to have you here is just, it's the world. If you haven't already, we have a Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at The Madness Table. You can also shoot us an email at themadnesstable@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you, love to hear how you're enjoying the show, any questions you have for the characters. We might even shout you out in some future post show notes. So please do so. If you're loving the podcast, we would just adore you if you shared it with a friend. And that's it. So we'll see you in 2 weeks for our next episode when...